For lab 10, you need to understand what nested loops are. So far we learned about how to create a while or for loops. And in this video, I'm going to talk about nested loops. And if you remember, for instance, in selection control, when you had if a statement, you could have another if inside another one. So you had nested if else's. Exact same concept, you can have nested loops as well, and I'm going to show you some examples on that. So let's basically have a few examples and have both nested loops that are created using while loop, and then nested loops that are created using a for loop. All right, so let's say I have a list of fruits. So these are the items that I have in that list. I have three different fruits. I have banana, apple, and orange. So what I want to see is I want to simply get each of these items from this list and print them on the screen. To do that, I need to traverse over this sequence, take each item and print it. I can either do it using a while loop or for loop. Since I have a sequence, it is easier to go and do that using a for loop. So I'm going to do that. So first, for keyword, I'm going to create a variable. You can call it whatever you want. So I'm creating this variable var in my sequence, and my sequence name is fruits. So after I do that, I simply say, all right, print that variable, which basically will be assign all of the items in that sequence one by one. So if I run this code now, I'm going to get each of these fruits in one line, because var in the first iteration is going to be banana. So banana is assigned to var. I'm printing var. In the next iteration, var is going to be apple, printing apple. In the next iteration, var is going to be orange, and I'm printing orange. All right. So now I have all of these fruits, right? One thing that I can do, and that is similar to what I asked you to do in lab 10, now you can also traverse over each of the items that you have in any specific item in the sequence, because the items that you have inside this list, they are type string, and type of string is a sequence. Okay, so that means you can also traverse over that sequence if you want to. And that is the question that I asked you in lab 10. I want you to go through a list and then take each item and then go through all of the items in that sequence and then print them separately. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to simply have a loop that goes through, traverse over each of these items, and then for each item that you get, which is your var inside your loop, I want you to traverse over each of its item again. Okay, so basically I'm going to have a loop inside a loop. So inside this one, I'm going to say, okay, now for I in variable var, because now my sequence is that var, and I want to print the item that I'm getting. Okay, so this I. So now if I do it, I'm going to get every one of the letters in each of these items, each of these fruits. So BA until like you have banana, and then actually until N, and then you have apple, and then you have your orange.